in light of my newest video, our introduction to confidence, I was thinking, what if you don't have confidence? Did I have confidence when I first started this whole thing? And I don't think that I did. You see, I think I had confidence not within myself, but confidence within God. And the thing about my views on God and any spiritual practice or religion is that it's very much personal. And it approaches us in the way that we need it to be approached to us. And so I believe that sometimes God does approach people as atheists. Sometimes God approaches people as being a Christian. Sometimes God approaches people as spiritual exploration or whatever. Because God is personal. And so at first I was going to say, you don't need to have confidence in yourself in order to be confident. Have confidence in God. But I think it's more expansive than that. I think it's more like you don't need to have confidence. You need to be committed. And so I remember there was a time in my life when literally I was so concerned. I was very concerned, I would say, with how people saw me, and I wanted to fit in so badly. And when I say a time in my life, I mean from probably conception to shortly thereafter high school graduation. So, most of my life. Which, I'm catching up, okay? I'm catching up. I'm about to be 30. I'm catching up. I'm pushing close towards that envelope where soon enough, I'm going to see where I've been living 100% in my own way longer than I've been living for others. But you know what? I feel more alive, so it feels like I've lived a longer, more enthralling life than I did before. So it already feels like I've pushed that envelope. And then there's just random right here. There's ouch. There's 8 years of like life where you don't know much of anything or see much of anything. So low key, it's kind of balanced pretty much. But point was, I feel like I just jumped so drastically because I went from like super uber duper caring. Don't judge my wig, okay? Girl, do not. It's ratty, it's old, but she still does what she's supposed to do. There was a time, okay, in my life where I was so concerned with what everyone thought of me that I literally morphed myself into just being this almost me version, which she was still pretty cool, but she wasn't an embodiment of me. And all of a sudden, it's like this switch came on and I was just 100% whoever I wanted to be at all times of the day. And even during those times, I didn't really have confidence in myself, but confidence wasn't really a factor. It was mostly like, don't you feel that urge in your bones, that drive? It's like that call from God or that call from Spirit that I felt. But, right, if you don't really necessarily believe in God, 443, significant on a timer, and then 444, but mostly 443, because I swear it was 443 for like 3 minutes. But if you don't necessarily believe in God, it doesn't have to be about God. It's like maybe this intense passion that you have for this thing where it's like, you know, when you feel like care about something so much that it's like you can't even hide it, like you just care so much about it. And so no matter where you're at or who you're around, you're gonna feel that urge of excitement. It's like maybe you're usually a shy person, but then you see something that you are literally obsessed with, like this very niche obsession, and then you see somebody else having it and you're like, ah. And then like maybe like you're usually an introvert and you don't talk to anybody, but you see somebody talking about that thing or whatever and you're like, did you know? And then all of a sudden it's giving extrovert vibes, but that's totally not you, because it doesn't require, or you know, this is just TED Talk from a girl who basically knows nothing. Like, I'm not very, like, this is not a topic that I talk about normally for me. So this confidence thing, and like I said, the confidence intro for the last video, it's a very new subject on my mind. So this is all like spitballing. I don't have anything formed completely yet. But just here thinking, right? It's like that comes because people have not necessarily confidence in themselves, but commitment to, or a strong connection with this thing. And so it's like, people could say, you know, oh, you built up confidence, right, by getting better at something or whatever, but is it really always? It's like you just are more enthralled by that thing, right? And you feel more connected to it, because people still get stage fright, right? Like when they go on stage and it's like, maybe they feel like this rush of emotions or whatever, and once they do it, and it's like, is your confidence really built up where it's like, oh yeah, I got that in the bag, I trust that I can do it? Or is that just something that's so, excuse me, enthralling to you, something that you're so committed to that regardless if you have the confidence or not, you do it anyways? And so that's how I was, like, literally, when I had my spiritual awakening, I was having the time of my life. Like, my inner kid literally woke up, and I'm, in my astrology chart, I'm the type of astro person that's like aging backwards, and I'm from being serious, you know, growing up, and then as the older I get, it's like child unleashed. And that literally was like, I swear, like, that's how it was. I was just so, I had interests that I had never had before. I started doing things that I had never done before. I started enjoying myself in ways that I felt too afraid to enjoy myself before. Like, I was doing everything, y'all. Things that I had never seen nobody do, I just started doing. And everybody was like, wow, you're so weird and different. And I was like, yeah, I know. To me too. Like, I don't know what's going on. But if you've ever heard the experience of a walk-in, low-key, like, I don't know. Point is, I had a commitment. The first commitment that I made to myself was that if I want to be happy, if I want to experience a life of joy, I have to choose it. And I remember on my 20th birthday, this was something I was talking about leading up to my 20th birthday. So like while I was 19, where joy is like a personal choice, you know. And I think that on my 20th birthday, I really locked that in and I solidified that. And I felt like I really just took off after that, where it was like, on my 20th birthday, so many things were going like wrong or off or skewed. Like the way that things were supposed to go just didn't really go that way. But I was like, you know what, bruh, like, low-key, like, if I get to choose to be happy. I get to choose to experience joy. Like, and that's something that I do regardless of my circumstances. And I was like, nah, you know what? I'm happy. Let's go for it. Like, I'm still up. I refuse to be upset on my birthday. On my 20th birthday, I refuse to feel like, whoa, or like argue with anybody. I was like, I'm finna do it. I don't care what's going wrong. And literally, I don't even remember what went wrong. I just remember having the time of my life. And I had this little, I planned myself a picnic. So I had literally a whole picnic with sandwiches, chips. I even had some wine. Well, not like wine, but like grape, Welch's grape juice. It wasn't wine. It was sparkling grape juice. I had some sparkling grape juice. I had some fruits and stuff, and I went into this abandoned building in the middle of the night, and we have it here in my, well, not here because I don't live there anymore. Excuse me. We have it here in my hometown. It's like a cool abandoned building that everybody knows about, and I just went in there and I climbed to the top of the roof and I had a picnic on the roof, a moonlight picnic on the roof for my 20th birthday. It's hella dope. It was hella dope. I got pictures of it still. But it didn't go as planned. But I was like, I'm gonna do me for real. Like, and I did me for real. And honestly, I love that for me. The commitment. It was the commitment. That was my commitment. My commitment was to joy. My commitment was to being joyous. And low-key, still, that is my commitment. And I give the credit to God, but if I take it back to the basic, because that's what I use, because that's how I need God to show up for me as another person, as a woman who doesn't have like friends or family, or personal connections like that, I can't really identify, or I could, but it doesn't serve me at this time to identify spirit as this thing, this energy. I very much heavily resonate with the idea, the concept of God as being this very much strong figure, my friend, my father, my mother, my husband, my lover, myself, and embodying all these personal, like, if I need a friend to lean on where I can talk and be like, oh, I'm mad about this or whatever. If I need to get wisdom in a masculine way, that's my dad. If I need to get wisdom in a feminine way, that's my mother. You know, just embodying these different roles is how I personally most benefit from God serving me. So side note, like, I guess the word is like a quick caveat, is if you've seen that video from the First Confidence, I believe it is from the First Confidence, Intro to Confidence. No, actually, sorry, it's from a short that I made, and I was talking about knowing ourselves and knowing our own limitations and our, literally who we are. Not even just our limitations, but the word that I used was capacity and capabilities, and that can be triggering for some people, like, yeah, like, but I don't have any I don't have a capacity, or like, you know, my capabilities are endless. And while that is true, for someone like me, I do believe that my capabilities are endless. I do believe that my capacity is like, it can never reach the max because it is endless. And that for me doesn't mean that I don't have to take steps. That for me doesn't mean that I can't allow myself to acknowledge that I am also a human being in my zones bubble. You know, I allow myself to create like a plant. If you keep it in a pot that's for certain plants, if you keep it in a pot that's too small, it won't grow. If you put it in a pot that's too large, it won't grow. If you steadily increase the pots, it grows at a steady rate, and it allows itself to expand while not feeling like it's either too shrinked in or so expansive that it feels like shocked by that as well. I allow myself to take time, you know? I allow myself to take phases with myself, and I'm not ashamed to say that I know that there's more, but this is where I am. I'm not. And I remember being very upset with other people. I remember being really upset with my friend when he told me about something that he believed in that was smaller than my beliefs at the time. And I was like, well, you should be expanding yourself more. And I remember being upset with him, but just thinking about it, I can see how it's important for us to serve ourselves in the way that we need to be served. And so I'm having like intense deja vu. And so, you know, back to the OG portion, you don't need to have confidence. You don't need to feel like I'm the greatest in the world, or I know that this and that. Be committed to that phase. Be committed to that thing, to the small thing, and it really starts to branch out. And it's like, initially, right, my motive, and even still now, but for this specific example, initially my motive for doing things like really enjoying myself, one of the examples is like dancing, you know, just anywhere and having fun, no matter where I was, you know. So I'd be just walking down the street and I'd be like listening to my music and I'd be you know. And so I'm not the best dancer in the world, but I'm committed to experiencing joy. I'm committed to allowing myself to have fun in the way, because I don't have to be the best dancer in the world to love dancing. And I love dancing. I love the feeling that I feel. Let me not jump ahead of myself. I love the feeling that I feel when I'm dancing. And so I decided to be committed to my joy. Instead of being committed to, oh, I'm confident in myself because I'm a great dancer or I'm a good performer, I was committed to the joyous aspect of it, instead of being focused on building up my confidence to where, oh, I'm not afraid to dance in front of people. I didn't consider other people at all. I've just only considered my joy. And so it wasn't about being confident to do something. It was about being committed to my joy. You see what I'm saying? And in turn, people kind of associate that with confidence. Like, other people might look at it and see like, oh, she's so confident. But to me, no, I'm just so committed to my goal to be happy. You know, that I don't care if I look silly for dancing in the street or singing. I'm committed to my joy, you know? And so now I feel a certain sense of confidence in, you know, dancing or something like that, because it has inspired confidence within me. My commitment inspired confidence, and that inspiration came in and sparked a new feeling, a new thing to learn from, which is like teaching me. So my commitment taught me, right? And it's teaching me confidence really is something that exists internally. Even, I don't know how to say this, even without needing to hyper fixate on that commitment of, oh, I'm doing this for joy anymore. It's like sometimes I do dance because it's like an act of pushing myself into confidence. I would notice that like there are some barriers that come against me from wanting to commit myself to from wanting to commit myself to my joy in that moment, right? Because joy is not just like a super straight line. It's kind of like, you know, it does make me joyous to have fun, but let's say if there's another roadblock that comes in, something that also makes me joyous, and it's like, well, I could have fun or I could do this, and there's a conflict within these things. Both of them lead to joy, but they will require completely different actions. I would have to stop one to do the other, or stop to do the other, right? And so it's teaching me to sometimes, right, commitment can't take me all the way there. Commitment can teach me confidence, so that confidence can take me closer to that point, because then confidence will take me towards elevation of skill, right? But oh my gosh, I hear like somebody saying, oh my gosh, I love you, I love you, I love you. It could be me in the future watching this video. I love you too. But then confidence will take me to that point of skill elevation. But for now, confidence is teaching me because I don't want to give specific examples, and so it's hard to, I have to like break this down directly all within my head. That I can exist out loud regardless of other influences outside of me. So back to that one example that I used, right? Like, oh, if I'm an introvert, but somebody does something that I feel like super excited about, then I'm jumping to, let me not say I'm an introvert. Let me say if I'm shy, but somebody does something that I'm super excited about, so I quickly jump in. I'm like, and da da da, because I'm so committed to that thing. That thing can teach me through exposure, by consistent exposure, that, hey, this action in general is not that difficult. It's not that difficult to just jump and talk to somebody, and then we slowly begin to open ourselves up to actually doing that action, and then we develop that level of confidence, and that level of confidence helps us nurture that skill, because we are confident enough to do it in a variety of ways and aspects, right? So confidence teaches us more variety, where then we get to that point where it's like, now I'm learning how to be mindful of different people. Now I can read people in a certain way, where at first I was just jumping through excitement, you know what I'm saying, and really putting myself out there. Now it's like reading the room, reading the crowd, you know. Then we take those levels and we learn those things. And so that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that confidence develops a variety, helps us develop that variety. And so you don't need confidence to start. It's not really immediately telling yourself, yeah, I know that I'm good at this thing, or which you could argue that's kind of like what commitment is, but for me, it doesn't have to always be that. You can be committed to something and know that, you know, you're not the best at it, but you can be committed to something and still not have the confidence, but be very like rich in knowledge of that thing. So maybe, right, your commitment is to learning and growing in something, and so when people start talking about something, you're like, I want to know about that. Can you teach me about it? You know, then you have that confidence. So it is different. But I don't want this video to, I don't want this video to get too long. I just wanted to come on here and blah, 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 and do a second video about, you know, you don't really need confidence. You need commitment. Or, let me not say you don't need confidence. If you don't have confidence, you can start with commitment. Commitment will lead you to more confidence. Confidence will lead you to more skill development. So I'll see y'all in the next video.